Okay, so I'm so glad you're here. How's everybody doing this morning? Everybody doing good? Yes, no, yes. All right. Okay, so let's review those things that we talked about. And I'm going to keep looking for people entering the room. I've got that to the side of my computer, so I'm going to be looking away and looking around and so forth. So I'm not distracted from you. I'm just trying to get everybody on here and reviewing my notes as well. So in setting you up for success, here's the things we talked about last week. If you don't have session number 1 in front of you, we talked about committing to 2 disciplines every day. And those 2 disciplines were expressing your daily gratitude. And I even provided you with a gratitude worksheet, which is called the 10-10-10, my 30-day visualization. And actually it was from Tom Ferry, and I added something to it. Tom Ferry's was gratitude and affirmations. I added goals. Actually, he had gratitude and goals. I added affirmations. So I hope you got that worksheet. If you didn't notice, you can actually put that into your computer. You can write right on it, so you don't need to print off 30 color sheets and wreck your printer and all that. So I hope you got it, and I hope you're working on it. I'm actually in another training with another coach, and actually it's funny how many coaches actually have you use this same system of expressing gratitude and the science behind it. There's actually, it's not just a feel-good exercise, there's science behind writing gratitude statements and affirmations and what it can do for you. Second of all, we talked about that you need to write down what you wanted to earn. So I asked each of you, how much do you want to earn in the next 12-month period of time? And hopefully all of you wrote a number in. Doesn't matter what the number is, but I hope you wrote a number in of what you wanted to earn. And then Tom Ferry asked you to what? He asked you to double it, right? Okay, so hopefully on your worksheet, you have the number and you've doubled it. And we'll get into that some other time. We also talked about the hour of power and the power of doing the hour of power each day. We didn't talk specifically about what Tom suggests that hour of power be. I know he does suggest that it's an hour every day that you commit to your business, to work on your business, to not work in, but work on your business. But specifically, I want you to write this down, if you would, somewhere on your sheet or somewhere in your notes. He asked that you talk to people in that hour, that you actually make that hour a connection hour. It could be the hour of connection, but it's called the hour of power. And here's what he asked you to do, that each and every day you contact 5 past clients. Now, some of you I know are doing the old, I don't have any past clients. What do I do? I would recommend that you figure out who your past clients or people that you worked with are. So the key is that you're talking to people. So if you have 5 past clients, try to do that each day. If you have 5 new conversations, 5 people that you haven't talked to. Now I'm going to give an example. Today I have a buyer that I'm working with, excuse me, and he asked me for some help in finding people who can get the home ready and actually before he moves in. So I'm going to be talking to a carpet cleaner today, and maybe some of you have a suggestion for a carpet cleaner. I could certainly use a suggestion for that because I don't know any. Otherwise, I'll just go to the internet and I'll search. But one of my connections today is going to be a carpet cleaner. And what I'm going to try to do with that connection is do everything I can to make sure that the carpet cleaner knows that I value them and that I want to have a working relationship with them in the future. And that this is a mutual admiration society, so to speak, where I reach out to them and we talk about how can you help me? Here's how I can help you. I am setting up my business and I am looking for preferred partners. Would you be one of those partners? And so today I'm going to be talking probably to several carpet cleaners. So that's an example of talking to 5 new people. And remember, it doesn't have to be on the phone. It can be going in the pharmacy and picking up the drugs that you need and talking to the pharmacist, just engaging a pharmacist, having your name tag on, and remember the script that we had. Finding the script that works for you. And we'll talk more about a USP, a selling proposition script. We'll talk about that in the future. And then number 4 is follow up with connections that you have. So regardless of who you talk to, Tom suggests that you be in touch with 14 people a day. Now, if that sounds like a lot, maybe it is. The key to all of this is working on your business and doing something, not just doing nothing. So if it's 10, fabulous. If it's 20, even better. If it's 3, it's 3. You know, we're going to be talking about sending out personal notes to people, how important sending personal cards and notes to people is. We'll be talking about that. That is another way to reach people. I'm going to be sending one off that I probably today, I don't even know if it'll make a difference at all, but it makes me feel good here. It warms my heart. I'm going to reach out to a teacher that I had 50 years ago that coached basketball in my high school and is turning 90. Now, will that be something that will turn into business? It could be a referral. I mean, I didn't even think about this, but he's 90. Who knows what tomorrow brings any of us, but let alone him. Maybe he will reach back and say, Jim, I've always liked you. You were a terrible student, but I liked you nevertheless. You had potential. And that's what I heard my whole life. You've got potential. You had potential. And, I've moved into a convalescent facility. We may be looking to buy our home. Can you give me some tips? Not, do you want to list it? Can you give me some tips? Well, my tip would be to work with a preferred partner I have in that city and earn a referral from it. So contacts, regardless, are all good. Okay. And so that's what Tom wanted you to do last week. Plus, did you start your top 100 list? I know that Kim has, and I know that Tom, we talked about this and starting the top 100 list, everybody that you know, putting it on a list. Don't worry about categorizing who they are, where they're from, what they do. Start writing down names of everybody that you know. I'm telling you, it's going to come back to you in dollars. Then he asked, did you review where your business came from in the last 12 months? Did you review where your business came from in the last 12 months? Some of you, I know what the answer is. What business are you talking about? I just got into this deal. I don't have any business. Well, that one you can't fill out. This is a mass training, so don't worry about that. And then I sent to you all the Mindset Model and Marketing PDF book. Did you all get that in the email that I sent you? So did any of you have a chance to take a look at it, to read any of it? I'd love to know if anybody read a chapter. No one yet? No, it's there for you, and it's there for you to use when and if you decide that you want to use that. As well as the 30-day visualization sheet that I sent to you as well. So I hope the things are going to be helpful to you. So let's get into today. Let me just see if I am able to share my screen. And hopefully you're all able to see the Breakthrough by Design sheet that I emailed to each of you. And if you didn't get an email from me, please let me know, text me and let me know that you didn't get it, because I might have your wrong email in, or I misinterpreted something in the email with the wrong letter of the alphabet or whatever it might be. So here's what we're going to look at today. Remember, sessions 1 and 2 are about setting you up for success. So we're not getting into the good stuff yet. We're getting into setting you up. And we're going to look at your finances, your numbers, and we're going to talk about tools to help you stay focused. So the outcomes from today is for you to ascertain your financial motivation. We may do, and I'll ask if anybody wants to do this, we may do something in discovering your why, but let's just see when we get there. And then we're going to hopefully show you and hope that you utilize 3 tools for success. So I know in the live training that Tom does, Tom says, attitude is a choice. It always is. And Tom will ask, hey, everybody, how is your attitude? So I'm asking you, how is your attitude? You're here, and I appreciate that you're here. And I know that Paul appreciates that you're here as well. Look inside yourself. How is your attitude? Okay, so let's talk about your finances. And maybe these are things you've done before and maybe not. I have found most agents that I've worked with have really never done this exercise. We want to become a realtor. We want to take advantage of the huge opportunity and financial opportunities that real estate sales offer us as real estate agents. But we don't dig deep before we start because we're so consumed. We're so consumed with passing the state test, with getting through the 180 hours, which, is pretty tough. It's hard. And it takes, obviously, it took me because I had to do it just like you, even though I had done it. This was my 5th test because I was a sales agent and a broker in Iowa, and I was a sales agent and a broker in Oregon. So this was my 5th one that I had to do, and probably the longest and most difficult as far as time goes. And of course, trying to shed old rules and laws that I know and have worked with for the last 30 years with brand new Texas stuff, which blew my mind, by the way, and I'm still trying to get used to the whole Texas thing. I imagine Mike might see some stark differences as well from New Mexico. So the breakthrough starts in your mind. So let's look at this, okay? This is not necessarily something to jump up and down about and to party over, but what does it cost you to run your business each month is question number 1. We've got to know this. You've got to know this. Now, most agents don't. They've never done this, but we're going to do it, and we're going to make sure you know. So what does it cost you to run your business? Many of you may not even know yet. You know what it costs you, hopefully. You're tracking all this because you do have a business. Expenses are deductible in business, depending on how the state of Texas works. But you want to know how much it costs you to run your business each month. So jump in, anybody, what would the things be that we would be talking about? What cost would be monthly cost?
Your MLS, your dues, any signage, cards, brochures, anything that you use for advertising, whether it be digital or on paper, ink.
Yeah.
If you, use any type of apps to help run your business, the cost of those.
Okay. Gasoline, transportation. What else?
Cell phones.
Cell phones. That's a huge one. Very good. What else?
Advertising.
Okay. Any advertising that you do? Anyone think of anything else? Those are all things that some of us just take for granted. We put on our card, on our credit card. They are taken out each month, but we don't really track it. And it's important to know what it costs you to run your business, because you're not working and you can't work for free. This is an expensive business. It's like you've opened your own retail store and you need inventory in order to be able to sell items out of your retail store. This is just a little bit different. And we don't have, thank God, was in retail for 25 years. We don't have to have inventory. or a lot of inventory. But we do have to run our business with things that will help us gain more business, and you have to decide. So part of working through this won't be today, but hopefully you won't put this under a stack of paper somewhere on your desk. I've done that when I've taken these kind of classes. I've gone right past it and waiting for the next week. Figure out what your business expenses are each month. Then, what does it cost you to run your home each month? Now, some of us pass that off to our spouse. It's just, I did it for years at my home when I was first married. I took care of all the home expenses and all of that until my wife complained about how I was doing it. And then I turned it over to her. So I've been married 41 years, 42 years in April, and for about the last 40, she's done it. So I really don't have a handle on what it costs to run my home each month. What would some of those expenses be? Anybody?
Mortgage,
Utilities,
utilities,
Okay.
food,
Groceries,
Okay. Lawn maintenance. Of course, water, sewer, all the stuff, okay? What does it cost you to run your home each month? Okay, so work on that, figure those expenses, work with your spouse. Maybe they will come up with something that you hadn't remembered. Gee, I saw an ad for a new app, and I don't know if it's new, where you can actually track what is coming out of your credit card each month as far as apps and all this stuff, because some of us don't even know. I don't even know what some of the stuff that I purchased on a monthly basis is coming out. So work with your spouse and put it together of what it costs you to run your home. Then how much outside income do you receive monthly? For some of us, it'll be nothing. We're all in. This is what we do. But for others, there's some that might have retirement. There's some that might have money that's coming from another source in a monthly payment. Some of you might are hobbyists that make things that you sell. Some of you have a part-time job. That's outside income. What do you receive monthly in outside income? Everything that you might receive. What are some things that you can think of that I didn't mention? Anyone? You have somebody that's left you a bunch of money and it's sitting somewhere and it pays out the money each month, anything like that? Does anybody have that?
no, but I want it.
Well, I'd like to arrange it too. So let's work together on finding somebody. I would love to have that. But so look at what your outside income is monthly, and then the difference between the cost to run your home and the business minus any outside income. Okay, so take the cost to run your home, item number two, and the business, number one and two, add those up. And then minus any outside income you receive. And how much is, next, number 5 is, how much is your average commission check? Does anybody know? Some of you have, I know, Jerry, you've been in the business for a while. Mike, you've been in the business for a while. I can't see everybody on the screen. What would you say? What would you guess? Just as in the area where you work, what the average commission check that you receive after Paul takes the brokerage part and any other closing costs? What's the number? Is there an average for you?
In the market I was in, it was about 11, 12 grand.
Okay, so that's what the check that you would receive at the end of the transaction after all the costs were taken out, 10 to 11,000, did you say? 11 to 12?
Yeah, we have expensive houses there.
Okay, so your average commission check after, the check that you receive from Paul, from the brokerage. Jerry, how about you? If you don't mind, I don't mean to pry into your life and your business, but
6 to 7.
Okay, 6 to 7. Anyone else? Okay, it could be different for all of us, because when we talk about a geographic farm and you're setting up a geographical farm in one of the upcoming Tom Ferry trainings, you may select the area that you focus on and work in based on what the average commissions are. And of course, that's easy to discover. If you go to the MLS, you can go to the subdivision that you want to work on. You can see what the average price over the last year has been, and it's pretty easy to figure out what your check is going to be. I would say Jerry is probably right. It's the number that it was in my Bend office. It was about $6,000 to $10,000, but you want to get it as close as you can so you know what your average commission check is. We talked about this a little bit last week, right? Because that if you want to make, if your average one is $10,000, you have to sell 5 properties to make $50,000. Obviously, if it's only $6,000, and I say only tongue in cheek, because that's still a fantastic amount of money for what we do, figure out what your average commission check is. And if you don't know, you should know. And if you haven't got a commission check yet, know that that's all part of your planning for the numbers that we talked about just a few last week. How much do you want to make? Okay, and then how many closings do you need monthly or quarterly to survive? So this is going to give you, I hope, a better idea of what life really costs. So you don't get to the end of 90 days and you go, oh crap, I don't have any money to pay my MLS dues, or I can't make my house payment. What this number is, how many closings should set you up for what you have to make in the real estate business. The numbers we talked about, write down the number you want to make and double it. That's a number that you want to make. All right. So the real question is, how many closings do you want each month? So I would love for you guys to throw out numbers. What's the number for you, Mike?
I mean, if I made like bare minimum to just pay for business and monthly expenses, I would say like, even one a month would be enough.
12 a year. Okay, that was my goal, my first year. And this is kind of like my first year, right? I'm starting over like you are, Mike. So anyone else? What do you have? Anyone? Henry, what would you like to, if we have a number, how many closings do you want each month?
One a month would be sufficient for me.
What would be sufficient?
One a month.
One a month. 12. Okay, we got 2 at 12. Kimberly, how about you? You're muted. You unmute yourself if you would. Kimberly, unmute yourself, and I didn't hear you. There we go.
I'm sorry.
That's all
I
right.
said I would love one a month. Well, I'd love 2 a month, but 1 a month would be awesome for my first year.
Okay, so you're saying 12. If you do 24, you'd be giddy and crazy, and you'd be all
Right.
all that stuff. Okay. Tom, how about you?
Yeah, I've actually done a spreadsheet, and I'm going to go with the 1 a month to be realistic. And as you said, I would be extremely giddy with anything other than that, higher than that.
All right. Well, we're going to shoot for more than that, right?
Right.
Who else is on the call that I can't see that would like to unmute yourself and tell me your name and because I know there's other people that I can't see.
According to the math, we would only need like 1 a month, but our goal is to have 1 a week. That would be great.
Okay. So,
Seriously.
yeah. Okay.
We've done the 1 a month.
Yeah.
We did that last year.
Yeah.
I think we just want to be where we have more financial freedom.
Okay.
And that would be anywhere from 3 to 4 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great goal to have. Do you have the systems in place, or are you looking for more systems? And that's why
Well,
you're here?
obviously we're new with exit, so this is kind of like the start of really trying to figure out what that is to get to that goal.
Okay.
Because that's something that we really want. Last year I did it by myself, but this year we're doing it together.
Mhm.
So lots of things changing, but that's kind of what Exit's about. We're trying to figure out, you know, what we have to do, what we have to tap into to get to that point, because it's definitely something that we want to do for 2022.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Anyone else that would like to unmute yourself and say to the group, say your name as well, please, if you do.
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Hi, this is Terry. Hello, everyone.
Terry.
I too would be 1 a month would suffice to
Okay.
begin with.
Okay, so Terry has 12. Thank you, Terry. Anyone else? Unmute yourself and let us know.
Hi,
Okay.
this is Haley.
Jerry. Go ahead.
Hi, Jim. This is Haley.
Hi, Haley. How much? How many?
I mean, starting out my first year, I would definitely love 1 a month, but if I can get at least 2, maybe every other month, that'd be awesome as well.
Okay. Thank you. Jerry?
Yeah, I think mine worked out about 1 a month, but I'm trying to double that.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to try to help you double that with the things that Tom Ferry teaches and so forth. Whom else is on the call that I've missed? Unmute yourself, please. Anyone?
Hey, this is Clara.
Hi, Clara.
Well, I mean, I really haven't done the numbers, but my goal is at least 1 a quarter, and I'm just starting out, so I'm trying to learn as much as I can.
All right. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know that the average in our business is around 4 to 6. The average with all realtors in the United States is between 4 and 6. That's what they actually do. I can tell you when I looked in Bend, they would do a print. I could do a printout of every real estate agent in Bend. There were 2,000 agents in the small city of Bend. And I could print out the list and it would be like 24 pages long. But what I would find is it was unbelievable the number of agents that did 0 to 4 to the number 4. How and why they do the business, I don't have any idea. Some people were just hobbyists. Some people had a license just in case. But of course, know that, you know, when we looked at how much is the cost to run your business, there's a cost to it. It's not free. Okay, anyone else that hasn't given me a number? Okay, did we get everybody? Okay, so I guess we all can see that the number is, the average is about 12. There are, you know, there's a couple people that want to do much more than that. And there's a person that wants and would be happy with less than that. But 12 is kind of the number. And I think in our industry, 12 is kind of the number. 1 a month, figure it out. If it's $8,000 and for each transaction, and you do 10, well, it's $80,000. So if you do 12, add to it. Okay, so you can all figure that. Okay, so let's move on. So Tom asked the top 10 financial goals. So why do you want to make more money? And this is an exercise that Tom Ferry does, where you just write down the reasons why you want to make more money. So I encourage you to do this exercise where you write down the reasons. But what I would like to do, if someone would volunteer and be very open, I would like to take you through another exercise that is actually the exercise that is suggested and that I've done before, called the 7 levels deep exercise of discovering your why. This is asking you, why do I want to make more money? Just flat questions. I want to make more money so I can buy a boat. I want to make more money so I can take a trip to Israel. I want to make, those are all goals that I think you should write. You need to have goals to go for. But the 7 levels deep gets to your why of why you really want to make money at all. What's the reason that you're in real estate specifically? Why did you get into real estate, and what are you going to do your money? So if anybody wants to go through the 7 levels deep with me, I would love a volunteer, and I'll just show you how you do the 7 levels deep. And actually, I want you to know that going through the 7 levels deep exercise can work with buyers as well. And you'll understand it can work with sellers. It's just not for us, but it can work with anyone. So does anyone want to volunteer to go through the 7 levels deep, where you're going to be very open? And actually, I don't want to scare anybody out of this, but I've had people who have done this exercise, and when we got to number 1, we count backwards. They're very emotional about the whole thing because they really thought about why they were doing what they were doing. So who would like to do this with me? You're brave if you do, but I won't embarrass you, I promise.
Hey, Jim,
Yes,
I'll do it.
okay. I can't
I
see.
know you can't see me.
Her head's chopped off.
I know. The headless female would like to.
I'll move.
All right.
Now you can see me, kind of.
Okay, you're very small on my screen. Who is this? Kim?
Yeah.
Hi, Kim. Oh, I can't. It's very small on my screen. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. Be as honest as you can. And I'm going to ask you, why did you get into the real estate business?
I got into real estate. It's something I wanted to do for years and years. But I got into real estate because I could be independent and free.
Okay, so very short and sweet, independent and free. So tell me, what about being able to work, being independent is free and free? What's important about that to you?
Independent because I support myself and don't rely on others, and not in a bad way, but I always have.
Okay.
Free is also kind of the same thing,
Okay.
that I take care of me and I take care of others, but mainly I'm free and I'm my own boss in so many different ways, not just financial.
Okay, so Kim, you've told me the reason that you got into real estate was, one, you could be independent and free, and then it's also important to you that you don't have to rely on others because you can do this yourself, and it's all about you. So let's go to the next step. So why is not relying on others important to you? Why is not relying on others? Why is that important to you?
Because I always have, and I don't feel like I've been able to take care of me and make my decisions based on, I don't know.
Okay,
Decisions have always been made elsewhere, so it's time to make my own.
okay. So if I could take your words and not shift them around too much, but you want to be able to take care of yourself and claim responsibility for you.
Correct.
It's about time, and I'm speaking for you, it's about time that you take responsibility for you and not depend on anyone else, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we talked about you want to be independent and free. You don't want to have to rely on others, and you really want to take responsibility, finally take responsibility for you and your life and what you're doing. So what's important about that to you? Why is that so important to you, that you can finally not have to rely on anyone else, that you can just rely on you? Why is that important to you?
Because the dreams that I have, I think would finally come true. I'm finally in charge of me and my destiny instead of kind of walking another path.
Okay, so you want to be in charge. You want to be able to really carve out your own path. I think that carve out your own path, the trailblazer kind of a thing. Your own, I'm writing this down, path. Okay, so you got into real estate because you knew that if you did, you had the opportunity to be independent and free. You wouldn't have to rely on others, that you could really claim responsibility, not having to depend on anyone else, and that you're in charge. You're finally in charge. So why is being in charge? What's important about being in charge to you? Why is that important to you?
Because I don't feel I ever have been.
Okay. So do you feel, I'm not calling you a failure, but you never have been, but you want to be. So, you know, we talked about you want to take responsibility, you want to claim responsibility, but you want to finally know that you've done something that you've never done. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you got into real estate because you wanted to be independent and free. You didn't want to have to rely on others. You want to be able to take care of yourself, and you want to be in charge. You want to be in charge of your own life. And the reason is because you never have. You don't feel like you ever have. So why is that important to you? Why is that important to finally set that goal and do something you've never done? Why is that important to you?
Because I feel like I actually have a voice. I've raised my kids. I've been through 2 marriages. It's time to, I mean, get up today or get up tomorrow and say, I'm doing this for me. I am doing this for my family, but you, in order to help others, you have to help yourself. In order to love others, you have to love yourself.
Isn't that the truth?
That's why it's important.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, if any of us here want to be able to help others and to actually help any groups, to donate to any charities that you want to, you can't give unless you get. You have to get to give. And so what you've told me is independent and free. You don't want to rely on others. You want to carve out your own path. You want to be in charge. And part of it is because you've never done that. Although you've been in 2 marriages and you've raised 2 kids, yeah, family is really important. But so tell me, what's important, and you want to do it for you, right? You said it's me, it's time for me. So what's important about doing this for you? What does that give you? What is that about?
That I will finally, I mean, doing this and being able to walk this path, I mean, what I do from here on out is based on me and then my family. Buying my first house, because I've never done it unless I was with somebody else,
Okay.
you know, so.
So I don't know if you discovered anything, Kim, by doing this, but we all have discovered a little bit more about you. And what I've discovered in particular is what I usually do discover when we do this 7 levels deep exercise. It's that it's seldom about the money. The number one answer I usually get when I start is, well, because I've worked a menial job, whatever that might be, and I want to earn $100,000 a year. That's usually, money is usually the number one thing coming out of the gate. But by the time we get to where we ended up, it usually ends up just as it did today with you. You took a different path, and I can kind of see your path that you've taken because you've been very open and vulnerable. So I applaud you for being vulnerable in front of everyone. That's really hard to do. But I think everybody else should and does have a better appreciation for why you're here, why you're doing this. And it's about finally discovering who you are. You're going to discover who you are in this business, and you're going to be able to contribute more to your family. Not that you haven't before, but you're going to be able to do even more for your kids than you've done before. And I'm guessing you've done plenty for your family and your kids. So did you expect to get to that? Is that where you expected to be when we started talking about this 7 questions ago?
I kind of had an idea,
Okay.
and it's right. It's never been about the money.
Yeah.
It's been about the dreams.
Okay.
So
So this exercise, I want you to, I think if you haven't discovered something about yourself, Kim, at least you've seen those things that you told us that were the stepping stones for you and what the stepping stones will be for you being in this business. Now, each of you should do this. I've done it with my family and my kids when I wanted to discover, why are you going to college? Why are you doing this? And try to discover what they are doing. It could be with them. With my clients, it's been, well, you've told me that you want to move into a bigger home. So tell me, what's important about that to you? And usually when we get to the end, it ends up to be just like Kim's, me and our family, usually family. And it's about me and finally providing for my family in a way that we have that home. So I didn't mean to dwell so much on this, but I think discovering your why is hugely important. As a matter of fact, Bob McKinnon is doing a book read coming up this month where he's going to be talking about Simon Sinek, the author of Discovering Your Why. He's going to be examining one of his books. And so you'll want to do that. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Kim, for taking this. So next question I have for all of you, is there someone that you could do something to honor them and drive your performance? I'll give you the story and then you can work on this yourself and give it some thought. Tom Ferry had a student that was in one of his training sessions. It was in California, actually, with 2,000 other people, and came back the next year for training again with Tom. And she raised her hand, and when he asked a question, so tell me, has anyone done anything spectacular in the last year that's helped you drive your performance and to honor somebody? And she said, Tom, when I went back home, I thought how I might be able to help my mother. My mother's never owned a home. She lives in a small apartment that she rents in a series of apartments, a big complex. She's never had a home of our own. Even as we were growing up, we lived in apartments and there was never enough money for anything. So this agent set the goal for the year to be able to purchase a home for her mother. And so she worked diligently and earned enough money so she knew she would be able to make the payments on that home and hopefully even pay cash for it. I think she actually did pay cash for it and get a home for her mother. So at the end of the year, or shortly into the new year, she threw a big party. And it was kind of an open house kind of a thing, but there wasn't an open house sign. She just threw this party at this house and invited lots of friends and family to come. And the friends and family came. They weren't sure, but she was just doing a party with food and drinks and just a fun time. And at the appropriate time, she told her mother, she says, Mom, would you come here for a second? I want to show you something. And so her mother stepped up to the area where she was in front of everybody, and she handed her keys. And she says, I want you to have these. And her mother said, oh, keys, okay, thanks. What's that for? And she said, Mom, for the last, it was actually 18 months, not a year, for the last 18 months, I set a goal to be able to buy you a home so you don't have to live in the apartment complex where you've lived with barking dogs and the noise and even the safety elements. And now you'll have a place to park your car and you'll have your own home where our family can come and visit you anytime that we want to. And I want to give you the keys to your home, your very first home. Now that was what she did in order to honor someone and to drive her performance. It could be a special trip for someone. It could be just about anything. It could be sending your child to college. It could be whatever drives your performance. For Kim is doing something that she wants to do for her. She finally wants to take control and she wants to do something for her. And so look at it, it helps all of us if we have a goal and if we have something of substance to work for, something that's meaningful. Money's money. Money's great, but what are you going to do with the money? And what's that going to do for you? And maybe more importantly, I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but what are you going to do for others? Okay, so let's look at the numbers. We're at 2.2 on the sheet, and we're going to look at the numbers. And Last week's assignment was to remember to write down where your business came from. Some of you don't know that yet, but do you know how many people you need to talk to make a sale? We kind of touched on that last week. And Tom Ferry's number, over thousands of people that he's worked with, are 50 to 1. You need to talk to 50 people to find one person that's going to end up working with you as a buyer, seller, investor, whatever they might be. So there's no wrong way. In the blank, you have a blank. There is no wrong way to attract a customer unless it's illegal and immoral to do so. There's no wrong way. So Tom talks about a 9-week breakthrough plan where in these next 9 weeks, we have 9 more weeks together. We're going to talk about, and you're going to set goals for yourself on how many days you work, as you can see on the page. How many days are you going to work? 3 days a week, 5 days a week? What is it going to be? How many scheduled days are you going to take off? And Tom, like many coaches, recommend that you do schedule time off. You do need time off. Tom, you need to be with your wife. Mike, you need to go back to New Mexico to do work back there. All of us have work and scheduled days are important besides the work. So what days are you going to take off and schedule them? Do any of you have anything on in your planning book, if you have one, the trips and vacations you're going to take this next year? Business trips, vacations, maybe days fishing, whatever it might be. Does anybody have it on their calendar?
Yes,
Yes?
yes,
Okay, who's speaking and what do you have?
Brittany.
Okay, what do you have planned, if you can tell us?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What do you have planned on your calendar?
We try to plan 1 to 2 family vacations. One kind of being a big deal and then the other one kind of being more, I would say not as expensive.
Yeah.
And then we try to do, we call them like, what would you say, like weekend trips? Where we try to travel like in the state of Texas, like to get away from the kids.
Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah.
And then we try to plan one bigger vacation with just me and him.
Okay,
We have the 14th. So we fly out on the 14th. We're going to Atlanta. We have family in Georgia.
okay,
So, I mean, that's just something small. We don't really have like we went to Disney in November, but like that to us is kind of that's more of a big deal. That was like a family trip. This is something that it's just me and him. It's just for 3 days. We're gonna go fly, see some family members, have fun, and then fly back before Monday morning.
okay,
So it's not like anything huge, but it's definitely time away.
okay. So you're already planning those things, and they're, I don't know if they're in on a calendar, but you probably have a pretty good idea when it's going to happen, and whether it's going to be fall or summer or. Okay, fantastic.
Well, it's January. It's in 2 weeks.
Okay. Anyone else? Anything that you have planned with your family, with yourself, with whatever, and anything written down? Anyone? No one? Okay, here's a couple examples of what you might put on a calendar. Just like she said, a weekend with your spouse, how important is that? How many times have we actually said to the person that we love the most, how important it is to spend time with them alone in a special place and actually express that to them? And what might that do for you and your marriage or with your relationship, whatever you might have? How many of us actually write down where we're going to go, plan it with the money that we have or don't have, make plans for that? So this is just like planning your business. And so you're going to want to mark down how many scheduled days are you going to take off. Okay. I can tell you when I This year in October, I'm going to the exit convention that's in Amelia Island in Florida. I guess off the coast of, I even remember the city, northern Florida. But it's, you know, so I already know that I've got to earn some money or put back money. I've got to plan it. So my family knows I'm going to be gone and my business knows that I'm going to be at the exit convention. If you haven't been, by the way, you need to go. It needs to be in your plans, because I can tell you, if you go and you take it in, it's like this class. If you do what's in this class from items that are shown to you at convention, you'll pay for the convention. So I don't know if anybody here has gone. Mike, have you gone to convention each year?
Yes.
And so have you found that if you put some of the things in place that are talked about, it actually comes back to you?
Absolutely.
Of course. But if you don't, if you're just going there, and by the way, there are people that go, they're very interesting to watch, and they're going there to party, and that's the only reason they're there. And so if you like to do people watching, that is pretty interesting in itself. But there are people there that go to learn. So the number of new buyer appointments that you're going to have, the number of showing appointments, what your goal is going to be. We can talk about how you get those. If you want to work with me, we can talk about how do I do that? The number of buyer sales, the number of listing appointments, the number of listings I will take. To get 12 transactions, you're all just about at 12. How are you going to get to 12? Well, to get 12, how many listing appointments do you have to go on? How many listings are you going to take to get 12? Gosh, if you've got 12 listings, you got nothing to worry about. That was my goal when I started. I'm going to get 12 listings, and I know if I get 12 listings and I price them right and they're good properties, I got 12, and I'm going to get more from that because I know I'll get the buyer on a couple of them, and I know some people will want to list their homes to buy what I have, so forth and so on. Okay. Also, the number of hours and the hours of power that you're going to do daily. So the number of hours of power that you're going to do daily. So if you're going to do one daily, an hour of power, how many did you actually do? So this is a tracking device for you to write down what you want your numbers to be and what they actually are going to be. Okay. The number of emails, the number of mailers I need to send. This is looking at where your business is going to go, built by design. Because most of us don't. We just live from day to day, and whatever comes to us, and we don't have a design for it. Are you going to reach these goals every time? Hell no, you're not going to reach them every time. Are you going to exceed them once in a while? Hell yes, you're going to exceed them once in a while. That's our goal. Okay, so last thing I'm going to talk about very quickly is something called a do, doing, done board. I'm telling you this is really important. I'm going to try to show you one. I'm going to hit the stop share and see if I can pick up. See if I'm able to. I've got to close that. Got to take. Let's see if I'm able to do this. Share screen. There it is. And see if I can share this with you. Okay, this is a gigantic. It looks like it's gigantic. Do, doing, done board. What a do, doing, done board is a way to track what you're doing each day. May seem simple, and it does. You know why it seems simple is because it is. So you've got a lot of stuff up here. There's a lot of stuff. At least I hope there's a lot of stuff up here. But sometimes we lose what's up here and we can't focus on it because there's so much inside this thing. There's so much in here. So what if you took all the stuff that's in here and you wrote it down somewhere and you put it somewhere where you could see it every day, where you could focus on it every day? So the do board is just 1/3 of the board, things that you want to do. Now this one is divided into now. What do you want to do now? 30 days from now, 60 days from now, 90 days from now. You can do, if you want to split it up by 9 weeks, you can. I would do 90 days. So what are some things you want to do? Write them on just a sticky note and stick them on a board. So they're in front of you, so you can review them every day. When you get up, you walk, you do whatever you do. You might do prayer, you might do affirmations, you might write gratitude statements, you review your goals, and in reviewing your goals, you look at the to-do list that you have, everything that you want to do. So if it's you want to go snowmobiling in Minnesota, I think Boo is actually in, or maybe has come back from Wisconsin. He went to Wisconsin where he took in some hockey games of family and did some snow stuff. You know, when it's 30 below zero, why anybody does that kind of stuff, I don't have any idea. I lived in it 37 years and I would never want to do anything again. And I lived by one of the top 4 mountains in the country, ski mountains. No, thank you. I don't want to break my ankle and I don't want to freeze my buns off. So didn't either. So what might be some of the to-dos you guys have? We might go just a few minutes over. I apologize. What are some of the to-dos that you have? Things that you want to do. They don't have to be real estate related. We've already talked about the vacation to Disneyland, the weekends with your spouse. What are some things you want to do? Just give me a few examples of things that you might want to do in the next 90 days and or beyond. What are some of the things you want to do?
I've been wanting to spend more time practicing my guitar.
Okay, is that Jerry talking?
Mike, sorry.
Mike? Okay, so that I'd love to work with you on that because I play guitar as well, but my hands aren't worth a damn anymore. But yeah, okay. Anybody else? No one else? Okay. Because of time, think about things you want to do. So let's just take Mike. Mike would like to do more on his guitar. You know how to play guitar, Mike?
Yes,
Okay, but you'd like to get better. What kind of things you have to do in order to get better?
practice.
Okay, so when would that be?
What's that?
Would it be daily? Would it be weekly? What do you have to do?
So I started in the last couple weeks, I made a goal of, well, not last couple weeks, but this past week, and make it a goal to like practice twice a week to start.
Okay, right, because your fingers get sore, your hands get cramped up. You only have so much time.
My
Okay.
calluses are gone.
Okay. So anything else you want to do with that? Because once you do it, you can put it in your 30 days that I am doing this 2 times a week, and I'm going to do it in the next 30, 60, and 90 days. And then at the end, what is the outcome of that? Maybe you're actually going to be able to play something that people will recognize, right?
Better.
Or you might do some kind of office thing that we do. We have a party where you might want to play something with Paul or me or something. Paul's pretty good, so it'd be pretty embarrassing to play with Paul. But so think about things that you want to do in your business. It could be, Kim's already started with things. She wants to record a video. Okay, she wants to get her first video out of the way, and she will by Tuesday because we're working together on it. Okay, that's a to-do. And then she might go to, I want to do 2 videos, maybe 1 video a week, 2 a month. Put the to-dos up and then track them. And this can be clients. And with the clients to do, I've got to do, I have to find them a house cleaner. I have to get a carpet cleaner. I have to, deliver the offer to title, all the things that you have to do. And then as you're doing them, you take them to the right and you're actually doing them. So Mike's already in the doing part, right? To do, you can take it away from to do, put it in doing, and then when he's done, he puts it in the done. Okay, so think about this list. I think it's hugely important and can help. It can actually help all of us. Let's go back and finish up real quick here into the rest of this. So here's, some example. I showed you the best example. It can be a computer program that you set up, a piece of software. It can be paper. I like to write on paper. It can be a big board like this. Don't make it complicated. Make it easy to get all your dues in a list on a board, and then take them over to doing, and then your goal is to get them to done. You start a transaction with Mary, you got all these things to do, you put them in the doing. And as you put them in the doing, you take one away as you put it in the done. So I've got to do this, put it into the done. Hope I explained that without slobbering over too much and trying to cover it. So your intention, as we look at the bottom of the sheet, your intention, you have to write what it's going to be. And maybe it's going to be that you're going to add one great lead to your board. I'm going to add one lead to my board, one new client to your board, and you're going to track it to get it done. So you're going to add blank to get it done. Okay. Okay, so we go, these are all kind of examples of the boards that I'm going through. So you have to remember your goal is to get names and things on the board that you want to accomplish. Remember to get things that you want to accomplish. And it's simply, the goal is to get things on the board. Remember, your goal is simply to get things on the board, to put things on the board just to get them there, okay? Remember that that's your goal. So here's our actions for this week going into next week. Remember, every week you want to schedule your hour of power at a time each day when you have the most energy, okay? My hour of power, by the way, used to be at midnight. Believe it or not, mine was midnight, and I worked from midnight to 1 a.m. That was my hour of power because I knew I wasn't going to be interrupted. And I actually, that's when I had energy. I don't anymore, but did. Whatever yours is, figure it out. Get a do, doing, and done board. Don't buy anything. You don't have to. Use sticky notes, use paper, use a dry erase board, a bulletin board, whatever it might be. But put it somewhere where you can see it. So each day you can experience the success of taking something from the doing to the done, all the way to the done, okay? The do, to the doing, to the done. Next, finish your 9-week business plan, okay? The way that you're going to get your business. And the most important thing you can do is share it here or share it with somebody here that can hold you accountable to it. I told you I will help you. If you need an accountability partner, I'll be that partner. I'll work with you. I'll do my very best to help you. So finish your 9-week business plan. Even Tammy Bonnell, she suggests short periods of time. Go ahead and have the yearly goal, 12 transactions, but break it down. Break it down maybe quarterly or every 9 weeks of what you're going to do to get to that goal. This is your deal. You set it up the way that you feel that you can accomplish it the best. And then the paperwork I sent you, excuse me, write it down. Write down your affirmations and gratitude list. It takes 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes each morning. Write down, think about what am I thankful for in my life. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be with you guys. I am thankful to have an automobile that runs. I'm thankful for my house that's going to be done soon. All the things that you're thankful for. Then write down your affirmations. Affirmations are powerful statements that you put in your subconscious that you believe are true. I am powerful and I am strong. People like me and I'm proud of who I am. Whatever it might be, okay? There are things that are actionable steps that you want to take and do those each day, but especially affirmations and a gratitude list, okay? The rest of it's just to write notes for yourself, and heck, you can even use this part of it to start your do, doing, done board by dividing it in 3 and just using the do, doing, done board. Okay, I know I'm over. I apologize. I'm only 7 minutes over. I hope no one had to leave. But what questions can I answer for anybody? Anything that I can answer? Was this helpful at all to anyone? Do you think you can make something of this?
Yes.
I hope so. I hope you don't feel it's a waste of your time. But it won't be, I promise you. If you hang with me the 9 weeks, you're going to come out, and Tom's goal is that you come out with 3 things in escrow. That's his goal, that from this you get 3 things that actually will get into escrow. But you have to follow the steps. So follow the steps that we've talked about. And I'll ask again, any questions that anybody has? I would love to try to answer them if I can. None? Okay, well, lastly, thank you again. Kim, thank you for being vulnerable and talking to us. I appreciate you doing that. And I
Oh, thank you
know
for doing
more
it.
about you now. Yeah. And, okay, everyone. So next class is next Thursday, same time, same place. I'm glad that Zoom actually worked today, better than Tuesday. But if you want to join me for doing scripts and role play on Tuesday, I hope you join me. We'll get it there to make it kind of fun. Mike, are you taking off to go to Mexico here in the next few days?
I'm leaving Monday, then be back next Saturday.
Okay, so you have a safe trip. We'll all be praying you have a safe trip. And anybody, if you need me, you know where to find me. I'd love to help you. And I'll see you Tuesday, hopefully. All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Thank you.